that we don't often. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to be talking about ritual, ceremony, prayer, vows, and bows or prostrations. These are things that many people, particularly in the Eastern traditions, many people, if you don't grow up in a culture where it is inculcated in the culture, many people believe does not happen within the Buddhist traditions, for example. Because there is no deity, there is no theism, there is no God, there is no one in that tradition, in those traditions. And so then what in the world would you pray to, bow to, vow to, promise, commit a life to? What would that be? Everybody write in chat or come online. What would it be? Say it out here. What would it be? A way of life, Libby says.
The universe.
The universe.
Nature.
Nature. What else?
The light in each of us.
Yes.
Light, the good, the maybe we could say possibility, capability,
Yep,
right, Dennis? Something like that.
that's right. That's right.
That's right. What
The
else?
openness, the vastness, the openness.
The vastness, the openness, the open heart, Greg says, love,
Sacredness.
sacredness,
Groundlessness.
groundlessness,
Yes.
yesness, yep. Divine essence. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So that's all completely true. It's completely true. And so whenever you bow, whether it's at the beginning of a practice, at the end of a practice, to the good in something, to its possibility, just think about openness. Dennis used words like sacredness. We're all bowing to that, aren't we? Whatever the word was, whatever the idea, we bow to the aliveness, the present momentness, right? The right here, right now-ness of that reality. And we bow not to the thing outside of us that holds that potential, not to the thing outside of us. Guess what we're bowing to? To the thing within us that has it. And the reason for the bow, the lowering of the head, is may I be so humble, right? May I honor this. May I, sometimes the words like supplication, may I surrender something. What is it we're surrendering then? To this. Libby says control. Yeah, it's very secular modern day form, that's for sure. Well, what are we surrendering?
Yeah, heart and soul.
Ego.
Heart and soul.
Who said ego?
Leslie.
Leslie, ego, to open to, Dennis, beautiful. That always available, always present, right here, right now, Buddha nature. Now, I'm just calling it Buddha nature because we're using some of those trainings, but we are not talking about Buddhism. We are not culturally contextual sufficiently for that. I don't want us to try, because you will take the Buddha in you right out of there by learning a bunch of words right? It doesn't mean they're not useful to know and hold in their meaning so that you can then make meaning for yourself, right? But what's the point? If you're just rattling off the chants, the words, the Buddha said, this is not the practice. The practice can only occur through what is present now, real now, enlivened now. And the vow, the chant, the prayer is to place the mind and then to place the heart and to place one's speech, right? See what's happening? All of the whole Buddha being in that reality, not just the mind, but the body, the speech, and the heart, the whole Buddha being. And so there are words to speak. Now, by the way, you speak the words that have the greatest what? Meaning, invitation, invocation, igniting for you. So I use the word bodhicitta, for example, but do I mean that? No, I'm just using a word because that's the word I use for that wholeness, whole mind, body, being, heart in us. It's just an easy way to say it. It's a good constellation. It means all that and beyond. And beyond. So I thought we'd have a little fun today for a minute at practicing. And I'm going to give a little instruction. I rarely do this, right? How many times, Jim, have I, maybe twice ever, have ever instructed on prostrations or vows? Really, maybe twice. Why? Because if that's not right for you, that's not the practice. If that's not right for you. I have been doing some prostrations every morning. Here's the hilarity of this. I thought this is probably good for my knees. I'm not joking. That's probably good for my knees. There's probably some benefit here. My knees are a little creaky. I think not a bad idea. I was getting down anyway, right? I thought, what the heck? Do it 3 or 9 times, right? I don't need, see what happens. Well, I got down there and I went, oh yeah. All right, wait a minute. I feel something. I really mean this. I didn't plan for it. I felt something when I was fully prostrated. I only do 3, I don't do 30, and I don't do 100,000, which is a prostration practice. In those 3, something happened. I'm not going to say what, because maybe not for you. But what I would like you to do is this week, we're going to practice just a simple bow. I'd like you to practice it. And then I'm going to come back next week and we're going to talk about what happened. Okay? We're just going to practice. And then you tell me, and then I'll tell you what happens. Okay, here's how it goes. So I was trained first in the Zen tradition. There is also prostrations are very commonly done in the Tibetan tradition. I use the Tibetan form for prostrations because those are the ones I learned, right? That's it. Is there a better one than another? No. Let's find the one that opens, includes, provides meaning in some way for you. But so here's how it goes. So I'm going to offer the Zen vow, and then we're going to practice Buddha being. We're going to practice Buddha being. So very different than in other traditions. The Zen is very, you would not be surprised, very controlled, very together, contained, might even be a word. And so you would never hold your hands like this. The thumb would never be out. It would be drawn in or even slightly tucked into the hand. This is understood to be the jewel. the jewel within the lotus. Isn't that lovely? You can even fold them in slightly. The fingertips are touched very lightly. There is a seal to this part of the hand, like this, see? And it is drawn at a 45-degree. Oh, hey, nobody knew this, right? I did this wrong because I always go to the heart. That's from my Catholic days, drawing it into my heart. No, 45-degree angle out. Chin is slightly tucked. And then you go to a 45-degree angle. I'm not sure you're going to see this, 45 degrees. And then coming up, the hands stay still, right? Bowing. Often the elbows are slightly out, not tucked in. Very different in some traditions, but they're slightly out, but shoulders back and down. Okay, so here we go. Bowing. What are we bowing to? We're bowing to the Buddha, not the capital T Buddha, the Buddha being, the Buddha nature. What can you bow to then? My last question before we practice, we'll be bowing during this practice. What would you bow to then? My last question. The Buddha nature, this is what we're bowing to. Remember, first and foremost within us, getting rid of all obscurations, all the things in the way, all the egoic, what about me? What about beauty? What about fame? What about wealth? What about power? Right? What about intelligence? What about, I'm surrendering all this. I'm giving it all to that preferred path, preferred reality. So what then could you bow to if that was the point of the bowing? Let's go to chat and see. What are you bowing to? I mean objects. Well, we already talked about the concept. What objects then, let me say that better, could you bow to if we were honoring, offering homage, supplication, reverence, devotion, respect? Think of other words. The divine within, that's the concept. What's the thing? What are you bowing to?
Well, I found my practice.
Libby
Buddha.
said, bow to my practice. The Buddha, where's the Buddha?
Inside you,
Inside you. Where else is it?
everywhere.
Everywhere. Oh, thank you. Everywhere. So what can you bow to? What's the thing? Everything. Every
And nothing.
all day. And Terry says nothing. Nothing. As long as what then? You hold the inner devotion, supplication, reverence, respect. Would you actually have to bow? When we were at the Zen Center, Jim and I and Allie, there was the old abbess. Do you remember her? I think her name was Beatrice. It was a gorgeous name. Like she was 90 something. She couldn't bow to anything. And yet, what? Maybe the most reverent. Right? Maybe the most reverent. Why? The inner was made outer already. She had a lifetime of that. She didn't need to tuck her head anywhere. She didn't need to tuck the chin anywhere. She didn't tuck her thumbs in anywhere. In fact, the truth is, and I did this, I don't know if Jim remembers this, I bowed to her. I bowed to her, just like I bowed to my grandmother in that beautiful church in Berwyn, Illinois, because the idea of bowing to the statue did not make any sense to me. Right? That was called genuflecting. You bowed onto one knee before you got into the pew. That was a part of the Catholic tradition. By the way, beautiful. It's beautiful. With the same, says Joseph Campbell, right? With the same intent. May I offer myself. So we could say in this tradition, I'm offering my whole self to my own Buddha nature. right? My whole self. How are we going to do it? We're going to practice that bowing. People will usually look at you, go, oh, okay, and do something back, which is lovely, or they might not. It doesn't matter. You have to be clear. It was my first teaching by Joko, which was I was bowing all over the place. In the Zen tradition, you cannot bow enough. You're bowing to everything. The person to the left, to the right, in front of you, the teachings, the teacher, the Sangha, to the refuge, to the precepts. You're bowing all day long, and I'm getting bored and a little disinterested, and I can't figure it out. And now I'm looking around, and then I quit. Like, no, I'm not bowing anymore. This is crazy. I have 500 bows in here the very first day, and I get an interview with Joko very accidentally, and I say, what the hell? What is all this bowing? And she goes, you know, I was watching you, by the way. What were you bowing at? You were bowing everywhere. What were you bowing to? I don't know. She said, then never bow. Don't ever bow to a thing you don't know what you're bowing to. It would be better to sit out, wouldn't it? First best probable teaching in my life. Okay, so then we practice. I thought I'd do that talk first because the practice embodies this bow. And so we gather our whole minds. Remember, where we place the mind, this is one of the aspects of becoming Buddha. Placing of the mind. And we do this by often reciting a prayer, a phrase, something that embodies that. I'm going to see if I can't find it. You will have heard this one, of course, before. And then we're just listening. We're seeing if we can't embody ourselves. I'm gonna make sure I didn't kill my community here. There you guys are. Okay. May I become at all times, both now and forever. In fact, let's get our hands in the right position for this. Let's practice that. And see if that matters in some way. Remember, 45 degrees. Slight tuck of the chin, uprightness of spine. We're letting all the wisdom, all the goodness, all the compassion pour in through the top of the head. And then moving throughout the whole of the body. May I become at all times, both now and forever, a protector for those without protection, a guide for those who have lost their way, a ship for those with oceans to cross, a bridge for those with rivers to cross, a sanctuary for those in danger, a lamp for those without light, a place of refuge for those who lack shelter, and a benefactor and a servant to all in need. Now, gathering that wisdom, gathering the truth of that, breathing it in, placing it within your own awakened heart mind. We bow. We have ignited the heart of bodhicitta and are prepared to sit. And we just take a few deep in and out breaths. With the out breath, we're settling the mind. settling the mind, inviting it home to the body. And we're embodying that prayer. And so we rest in the Buddha body. Feeling the sense of the whole body, enlivened, enlightened, made whole by that aspiration. We breathe into the Buddha body and out from it, remembering these are qualities, ways of being, a path, a practice, the training. And then how does a Buddha breathe? You might choose then to place the image of a living Buddha, maybe a picture, a statue, a living being who embodies. Awakened heart mind, the heart mind of bodhicitta. Remember that bow is the releasing of all ego, of all clinging, of all attachments, of all ignorance, of all greed that might obstruct this Buddha body. This Buddha sitting here, breathing. Embodied, present, not some place to get to, not a place from which we have come, but the whole, past, present, and future, right here. Buddha being, Buddha body. And see if you notice the quality of attention. The quality of attention of this Buddha. The one who knows the impermanence of all things. The one who knows the interconnectedness of all things. the one who knows the addictive nature, the unreliability, the unsustainability of this material world, who already knows. We cling to nothing, not even the breath. Resting, embodied Buddha. There is no other Buddha, there is no other body, there is no other Buddha mind. Seeing if you can cultivate that felt sense. The ease, the calm, the non-attachment, the non-reactivity, simply the Buddha body sitting. And then we place our hands together, the tips of our fingers. You don't need to open your eyes for this. We sew the zipper up at the back of the hand. We place the thumbs within. We hold it out at 45 degrees. We lift the elbows slightly. We gather the whole of our Buddha being. We tuck the chin to receive it, and we bow. We bow to Buddha body. Within us, around us, and in all things. This breathing Buddha body. Letting the whole body breathe. And then we cultivate that which recognizes Buddha body, which is Buddha mind, the awakened mind. And just taking a moment to invite and to invoke that Buddha mind, this clear seeing, bright, brilliant, completely open, receptive, all-knowing, all-seeing Buddha mind. And where do you place the mind to access this? My tendency is to place Buddha mind in vast open space, in the sky-like quality of mind. Place it where the mind can rest unmoving. Might be the breath, might be open space. You can cultivate that all-knowing, all-seeing, unmoving mind. Buddha mind. And from this mind, we make contact with all things, but the mind never, never moves. It does not take the shape of the object. It simply holds the object completely. Very different. The mind does not move. It does not grip or cling. It does not reject or deny. And so in this Buddha mind, I can hear the raindrops hitting the concrete. Held in the vast open space of Buddha mind. This mind, this Buddha mind within us that is has been gifted to us is already precious by virtue of its capacity to awaken. And we're not talking about awakening yesterday or awakening tomorrow. We're talking about the Buddha mind that is awakening and is awakened right now. And right now. Resting in Buddha mind. Enlivened through you. cultivating the qualities of this mind. This Buddha mind resting in this Buddha body. And then once again, gathering our hands in front of us, placing our fingertips together, tucking the chin, tucking the thumbs, opening the heart and the elbows. And then we make the offering with the bow, bowing to Buddha mind. The Buddha mind within you, and the Buddha mind within all things and all beings. And then relax. Gathering these two elements of the Buddha into Buddha being. And then inviting within this Buddha body, directing the Buddha mind to the Buddha heart. Radiant, warm, vibrant, glowing, enlivened. The heart of compassion, of loving kindness, of sympathetic joy and equanimity. These are the characteristics of the Buddha heart. Calling them up and breathing into them. We have the stillness of the Buddha body. We have the clear seeing, the stability, the openness, the unmoving nature of Buddha mind. And we have the all-embracing heart, the warmth, the interconnection, the interbeing of the Buddha heart, open, vast, and filled with loving kindness, compassion, rejoicing, and equanimity. That is all. We breathe into this heart, opening, expanding, making real, making bigger. Feel the aliveness in the area of the heart space. Buddha heart, the heart of Bodhicitta, the resting, dwelling refuge of Buddha nature. And then we draw our hands together and we recite the phrases. This is where this idea of prayer comes. It places the mind again and again on those very qualities, on those very ways of being, on the aspiration to cultivate these very qualities. We recite these phrases. May I have happiness and the causes for happiness. And feeling into how is this different with the hands in the prayer posture than in just reciting? See if you can't feel into that. What's different about this? May I be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May I rejoice at my good fortune, the offer of this precious human life, and this capacity of Buddha nature. And may I wish these very blessings for all beings. May I rest and dwell within this Buddha being, enlivening the Buddha body, the clear-seeing nature of the Buddha mind, the warmth, the care, the love, the equanimity of this Buddha heart, this Buddha being sublime, precious. And may I bow to that which is within me, and that which is within all beings. And then release the hands, resting in this Buddha being. If you don't know where to place the mind during the practice, this is it. And if you don't call it up on purpose with intention in the present moment, that's the definition of mindfulness, by the way, you cannot live its heart. You cannot live its heart if you do not recollect, remember, and embody. And you can't avoid it otherwise. If you call it up, there's nothing left to do but be the Buddha as you are. And feel the effects and drawing our hands together once again, offering the merits, the benefits, and the blessings of this practice, gathering them in a heap, the jewel within the lotus. May we all have happiness and the causes for happiness. May we all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we rejoice and be glad at our good fortune, at our own Buddha nature, and wish this for all beings. And in that wish, by the way, we commit ourselves to cultivating our own Buddha nature. May we rest and dwell within this Buddha being, free from aggression, hatred, ill will, ignorance, confusion, free from anger, from hatred, free from all addictions. And as I strike the bell, we will bow 3 times. The first bow is to the capacity of all beings to awaken. The second vow is to the Dharma, the truth available, alive within you, this present moment. The third vow is to the Sangha of all beings, of all Buddhas. The Sangha who embodies, makes alive, and shares the teachings, the capacities, and lives it live in the community. To the Sangha. And so then you get clearer, hopefully, that what the tradition says is don't do the things for the things. Don't bow for the bow. Bow for the devotion. Bow for the respect. Bow for the honoring. Bow for the regard, the devotion, the reverence, the supplication. Bow because that is something within you made alive in the bow. And as Joko saw in me, there's nothing going on in her except the bow. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you do not enliven the heart, mind, or body. By the way, the traditions also say any one of those will lead to the other. Start where you can. Any one of them will lead to the other. Begin where you can. Well, I can put the body in that, and in the embodiment, I can feel that release of ego. I can feel the non-attachment, the letting go of the obstructions, the focus, right? Good enough. Good enough. So I just want to check in and see how that was for everyone. I'm going to start with Jim and Libby because they're right here and I can pick on people. I'm going to turn this a little bit, see if I can't get them here a little bit. Can you see Libby? Is she over there? Oh, she's kind of in the dark. Yeah, the blanket. That's the blanket of Libby. So speak up. And so how was that for you?
I see how, at least in the meditation, how you use the word embody, and I think that's a great word. You know, rather than just say the words, I use the word gratitude. When I bow, it's sort of my gratitude towards you, towards myself, towards the practice, whatever it is. But in doing it during the meditation, you can feel the difference. You can feel the embodiment of it. So it was definitely felt different for me in that respect, rather than at the end or when I bow to someone. Yeah, I definitely feel physically a difference.
Yes.
But I like the word embody. Right, I think that describes it well.
Yes. And we got Jim over there. Jim's half outside, so I'm gonna turn this, but I don't know that you can see other than, yeah, you can see him in the shadow. So you can see him in the shadow there. Jim, what's your experience with this?
Well, for me, it's a way to connect. It's a way to get out of the body. Body's sitting here. It's always here, it seems like. Sometimes it gets in the way.
Mhm.
And the vow is to simply release that into the universe. And speak for me today, I was able to lean into a little warmth.
Yeah. Instead of back.
away from the
Yeah, I love that.
crazy windy coldness, but which is all obviously part of the universe. But to feel that warmth of others, those
Yeah.
online, those here,
Yes.
to connect. And
Yeah.
what a wonderful opportunity. It's just such a blessing to be able to do that and to appreciate those who bow in areas I don't understand.
Yeah.
And maybe I shouldn't understand.
Right.
But I have to assume that that's their connection. And in reality, if I were to lighten up a little bit, maybe they're connecting with me.
Mhm. That's right. Well, definitely, I would say connecting with you and that within you, which is Buddha nature, right? That Buddha nature within you. And so I see Leanne there. Leanne, did you have something to offer? What was your experience with this practice?
Well, I mean, I think I've never really understood the bow.
Yeah.
And when I watch people bow, I don't really understand I just don't have I didn't really resonate with the bow. So I didn't get the bow. How are you supposed to put your fingers? What do you do during the bow?
Right.
So I guess it was the first time and I guess I've grown up with this, you know, my mom was Catholic. Then when I was born, we went to the Unitarian church, which I loved because you could draw on the walls and it was a lot of fun. Then she, kind of was an atheist, so didn't really have kind of this spiritual nature, but my mother meditated all the time, which we just thought it was the time that she didn't want us to bug her.
Yeah.
But I guess I've always had this kind of I'm above. I know that word just came out of my mouth, so I must feel it. But kind of, I don't need to bow. I don't need to bow. I don't need to be
Yeah.
humbled, and
Yeah.
I guess not humbled, but I guess the point is I didn't really understand the bow, and I guess
Yeah.
I really just even learning the mechanics of the bow
Yeah.
made me kind of feel like I can lean into it and I can give
Yeah.
into it a bit to,
Yeah.
as I think Jim said, a release,
Yeah.
like a release and a bringing in. And when we did a bow for the Sangha, I'm really grateful for the Sangha. And I just really felt all that in the bow. And I
Yes.
haven't, so just a lot of things to bow about, I guess. So I really felt it, I guess, this morning.
Yes. I think when we open ourselves to our experience, not the Catholic Church's experience, not the Buddhists' experience, but what is this in
Mhm.
you? Like, what's really here, alive, present in you? That's more than good enough. So we throw out all the isms,
Mhm.
right? I'm going to show you another in a moment, just because it isn't like I just showed you the one mechanic. I'm going to show you another mechanic, only because I don't think there is an A mechanic. I just,
Right.
right? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's my brain, like, just kind
Yeah,
of needed to
like, why
wrap
would you
around the.
wrap around, it's got to look like that.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
be careful. And there are traditions that have been thousands of years old. And so it would be interesting to investigate, what's my bow? What's my way? So do I go down to one knee like I did in my Catholic Church experience with my grandmother? Wouldn't that be lovely? Of course it would, because it would embody all of that. I was very clear what I was bowing to at 6 years old with my grandmother in front of me. I can feel that today
Mhm.
because of the bow. It was actionable. It was feelable. It was tangible, alive. It was right there. I never got the statue thing. I never got it. It didn't ever mean much to me. It didn't evoke that for me, but the living Christ, the living Buddha was right there in my grandmother. And I could
Hey.
bow easily to that. Hi, Robin.
Hi, can I introduce you to my dad, who is 97? And so I bow to the fact, look at me. Say hello. Say hi, Diane.
Hi there. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Diana. So this is who was in my heart today, along
Yes.
with my mom. And just the bow of the pleasure of having him at 97, cooking me breakfast.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
living on his own. He
Very-
still drives, but he only makes right-hand turns, no left ones.
Yep. Good
But
for him.
very-
That's
Yeah,
why.
I know.
Do you know what
Blaze
I'd like to
Bridge.
do, Robin? I think we should, we're gonna make that offer of that bow to your father. So get that
Aw.
screen back in front of him, please.
Okay, hang on. Hey, Dad. Dad,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you to look at us one more time. We're
you.
we're honoring you. So
Yes. And
Just
so
up.
what's your,
We're
what's your
honoring you.
dad's name, Robin?
Harry.
Harry. So Harry, we are gathering our hands together. We're
Hang on.
offering you
I'll tell you what to do.
honor.
We're
all
gathering our
goodness.
arms together, our hands together.
All right, let me finish. I'm eating breakfast.
Yeah, we're bowing to you as you eat breakfast. You do not
Perfect.
need to bow to us. Just knowing that you are here at 97, living goodness, making offers to your beautiful daughter. May you be well.
I'm coming over for breakfast. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
We're all
Oatmeal with
coming.
fresh berries.
Sounds delicious and delightful. May Harry,
Yes.
may Harry be well. What
He-
is
He's
it?
amazing.
What is it? What is it? What's that bow? I'm recognizing the goodness in you. Now, does Harry need to bow back? He does not.
Definitely not.
Harry's eating breakfast. Harry
Yep.
does not need to bow to anybody. Did Beatrice need to bow to anybody at the Zen Center? She did not. She'd spent a lifetime. Right? She was embodied. Right? Now, the reason we bow is we remember, we recollect, we make ourselves available. Jim says release, Libby says embodiment, Leanne says, right mind. I've got some idea then about what the point of this practice is, what the point of the teachings are. We recognize and remember the benefit of the community. This is right, the point of it. I'm going to show you another one, but I want to talk to Greg first because Greg's on. Good morning, Greg.
Yeah, good morning, Diana. Yeah, I just kind of wrote it down there, bowing to this life, bowing to the day and the gift of it, the gift of it all.
Yes.
If I can bow to that, I'm bowing to my Buddha nature, I'm bowing to all of it right there.
That's right. And then how do you have a bad day? If you were to begin the day, it says bowing in the four directions in the three times, past, present, and future to all things. How do you have a bad day? No. Yeah, only because you forgot. What could you do? Oh, I could bow again. I could remember and embody again. And by the way, like an eraser on a chalkboard, takes all the obscurations out, removes all the clouds from the sunny sky, only seeing clearly, only embodied presence, only remembering. And the reason we make repetitions is that's what we remember. That's the point of the repetition, right? It's for the mind just goes there. The mind just goes there. That's right. This life, this present moment, this Buddha nature, alive right here, right now, not just in this room, not just in these beings, everywhere in all beings. And then you would do nothing but bow, says Thomas Merton, doesn't he? Then you could do nothing but bow. And actually what he says is you could do nothing but get on the, kiss the feet of everyone. Right, that would be it. That's originally, as I understand it, as I've listened to the mythologies by Joseph Campbell, that was originally what the bow was. It was kissing the feet. That was the bow of the divine. That was right. Whether that was the Buddha or Christ or it wasn't God himself. It doesn't matter. Do you remember the beautiful story of, and I got a chance to see this at a distance, the beautiful story of the Dalai Lama, who was walking through the hallway to his talk, and he was coming this way and we were going that way. And of course we got stopped. We were not going to get up to the Dalai Lama, but he was coming in to the auditorium, and we got stopped, and he was coming down the hallway with 1,000 people, including SWAT, and he is often protected like this. And he was passing the picture of Christ. It was at the a university, a Jesuit university, and he stopped and he turned towards the Christ and he bowed and kissed the feet of Christ in the picture, and would not be stopped because they were shuffling him fairly quickly. Like, no, we're not going past this. We're not going past this. Could we live like that? And then Thomas Merton says, you would bow and kiss the feet of all beings. If you knew the truth. Right, and so we're going to practice this. I'm going to show you the other bow. It's more Tibetan, and again, because I have training in the Tibetan tradition as well, I do not do the Zen bow as much, and the prostration that I do is directly from the Tibetan tradition, and I am going to show it to you because I want you to play with that too. So I'm going to put this here, and Libby, you're going to see if you can see it. Now remember, I started this for my knees. Who knew? What-
Angle it down.
I'm going to angle it.
Go down. Forward.
Can you see me there, Greg? Come on and tell me if you can see me.
Your white shirt.
You can see
Your
my,
pants.
oh, you can't see. I got to show you this part
Yeah,
first.
can't see all of you there.
No, I'm going to show you first. Okay. So in the Tibetan tradition, it goes like this. So hands together, same tuck and drawing together, never again enslaved. It's regarded, right? It's drawing all the goodness, all the together, very similar in this way to the Zen tradition. The unlike the Zen, the arms are not out, right? This is more Zen tradition, further away. In the Tibetans, they draw to the heart. You've seen them, right? You of course see them do that. So very much more to one's own bodhicitta heart. That's number one. But here's the prostration. I won't be able to do it because you can't see me. But the first goes up all the way to the top of the head. Buddha being, the whole of the Buddha being. And then it comes right here, right to the forehead. Dharmakaya. Buddha body. To the mouth, throat. Buddha speech. To the chest. Buddha heart mind, same, right? heart, mind. Okay, whole of the Buddha being. The Buddha body is here. I know it's a little confusing because you're tempted to go to Buddha mind. No, Buddha speech, action, Buddha heart, mind here. So top and the bow. The bow is always on flat hands, never knuckled. Then to the knee. If you wanted to do a short version, you could just literally put your forehead down. In the Tibetan tradition, they make a little stupa. So the head goes down, hands go, little stupa, little stupa. You want to do a big stupa? Okay. Could go like this, hands go back flat, rising up. And that is the, right? Just so you know, you'll see people do this. Right? Down, get up. And so that's the one you'll see me do more often because I don't pull my hands away. In the Zen tradition, that is called gasho. That bow is gasho. And in the Tibetan tradition, I don't remember the word for their of course, it's something like chunlup. It's because everything sounds like chunlup or jungcha or something that I can't recollect. I will figure that out for you. Let's look at chat for a minute. For me, the bow brings in a new level of respect for the practice and the body. Yes, it does, doesn't it? And it embodies, as we said again, bowing to this life. Beautiful, Greg. We talked about that. So this week, what I'd like you to do is see where you can feel that reverence, feel that honoring, feel the gratitude, Libby said, feel the release, Jim said, feel the goodness, the preciousness of life, Greg said, feeling the joy at having a 97-year-old father who's making breakfast, said Robin, right? Those are all the same heart. Those are all the same heart. And then so take the time to at least make an inner bow. Because remember what we said, the enactment is just a beautiful remembering reminder. I do think it evokes it. For me, it's absolutely certain. I live a different day because of it. It is absolutely certain. I have been paying careful attention to this. And then you can make the offering in whatever way feels, may we all have a good day. Maybe that's the one you can invite. How beautiful would that be? May we all have a good day, a day filled with happiness, joy, love, and ease. Okay, that would be incredible. Okay, we get the idea. I wanted to take the time because like Leanne said, we often are doing things, we have no idea why we're doing them. And now, just like me, if you're doing it, do it on purpose, with intention, and know something about what quality, what characteristic, what practice, what teaching, what community, what beings you're bowing to. Anything else before we sit a little bit more? It is 8:50. I'm open for any conversation before we sit just a little bit more. Doesn't look like I've got anything going there.
Don't forget retreat next week, all day.
Thank you, Carrie. We have an all day next Saturday. I will put out the newsletter again this Sunday for sign up for that. That is a whole or half day. It is at Quest Haven. This time we'll be back at Pete's in May. But this one's going to be at Quest Haven. And Carrie, I can't remember where we're going to be.
The academy.
Up by the academy. Up by the academy. Okay, so you will be able to register for that at that time. I have no idea about the weather. And by the way, it doesn't matter to me. I don't know. We practice in the sun and the rain and the clouds, and that is the practice. And so I can't think of a better thing to do on a rainy day, personally, because otherwise I think we fritter the day in activities that are not conducive. So please join us. I would really love that. Okay, we're going to practice a little bit more. And we're going to gather our hands once again. We're just going to do this practice one more time. We're going to come all the way up. Buddha being, the Buddha body, the Buddha speech and action, the Buddha awakened heart, mind, and we will rest. Rest in Buddha nature. Finding the living Buddha. There was a book written by Ty, Living Buddha, Living Christ. Where is it in you right now? Well, everywhere. Bottoms of the feet, the tips of the toes. The cold nose. Buddha nature. And we make contact once again with the Buddha body. It is not the physical body. It is the embodiment of Buddha nature. Alive in you. Taking a few breaths, making contact with that Buddha body, Dharmakaya. And then there is the Buddha mind. Boundless, empty. It means not cluttered up. And resting the Buddha mind in its boundless nature. And then the warmth, the spaciousness, the connectedness, the belonging, the felt sense of the awakened Buddha heart mind. Bodhicitta. This is how we live love, compassion, joy, and equanimity. And we get the privilege based on this precious human life. And drawing our hands together, tucking the head. May all beings be happy and have the causes for happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings rejoice and be glad, recognizing the preciousness of this human life and our capacity for awakening. May all beings rest with ease and well-being in Buddha nature, free from all affliction, embodied and wakeful. And so as long as time and space endures, and as long as there are beings who exist, may I so too remain to dispel the suffering, the sorrows, the pain, and the afflictions in the world. And may this practice today contribute. So be it. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday and on Thursday. I think Greg's still in town this Thursday. Yep. And
Yep.
then Saturday, I will be at the all day. And so we will see if we can't get someone else to get the Zoom on. I'm pretty sure we will be able to do so. If you will not be able to join us up at Quest Haven for any part of the day, be my hope that you could. That practice is important for us all. A little bit of extended continuous practice is definitely necessary part of the path. So thank you all so much. I hope this was helpful in some way for you today. Jim is, if he's not wet, I can't get out how you miss. Yeah, he did it. Jim was right outside the door here the whole time, keeping, practicing in all conditions. Great for us all. All right, everyone, be well. Good to see you all. I'll look forward to seeing you Tuesday.
Yeah, right. When we all like.